Welcome back to A Couple Threads. I'm Heather.
I'm Armand.
The theme I have for us today is, are the consequences justified?
Okay.
Right. Getting into it, first story coming from r/AITAH, 1 year old, titled, Am I the for hitting on my girlfriend's friend after she insisted on not telling them I'm her boyfriend? My girlfriend and I have been official for a few weeks now. She hasn't introduced me to her friend group yet, which I didn't think much of at first. We were all set to hang out, but before that, my girlfriend said to me not to mention that we are together. I asked why, and she said it was because she wasn't ready for it. For that night, I was okay with it. Afterwards, I told my girlfriend that I felt like crap and that I wanted to be seen as her boyfriend. She said not to worry and she will be ready soon. But the second time she asked me not to mention it again, I was annoyed, but I agreed not to say anything. During that second time, I overheard one of her friends ask her if there was anything going on between us. She said I was just a friend. I was hurt, to be honest. I knew what I agreed to, but it hurt to hear her say that. Later that night, one of her friends approached me. She started hitting on me and asked if I was into my girlfriend. I lied and said we were just friends. We spent the next 2 hours talking and lightly flirting. I didn't kiss her or anything like that, but did playfully shove her a little. I wasn't planning some revenge on my girlfriend or anything, but it felt nice to have someone flirt with me. My girlfriend was pissed. She said that I crossed a line with her friend. I told her we were just having fun and nothing happened. We got into a huge fight, and I'm feeling confused now if I should apologize or not.
I can't tell if it's petty, like if it's pettiness, or obviously I feel like he was trying to just mess with her.
Yeah.
But yeah, the question would be, why wouldn't she want her friends to know that they're together?
Yeah.
What's the reasoning
I
behind
agree.
that?
Even though it's like fresh, like when we went on our very first date, my friends knew about you.
Yeah.
Like,
it's one thing if it's
know.
like her parents
Yeah.
or her family, like, oh, this is just a friend and you don't want to deal with that. But your friend should be someone that you do say if you're official. Then are they just dating or they're official?
It says we've been official for a few weeks now.
Okay, then
So,
yes.
Yeah.
She should have told her friends.
I think so. I think also like going out with them is different, because it's one thing if you just don't tell your friends because it didn't come up. But like straight up like having him go out with all of you and then being like, no, he's just a friend, like,
and then her telling him, like, hey, my friends don't know that we're official, or even probably dating. And I think he was also, I just don't know if it's like, if he was trying to be petty or actually hit on her friend.
It doesn't seem like it was like his intention, but I think any sane person hearing your girlfriend say, no, we're just friends, okay, in my head, fine, we're just friends.
I'm gonna hit on your friends.
I don't know.
I mean, there's not much like to justify it, really. I get why he did it.
I do too.
In a crappy way.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'd be upset if you were telling people that we were just friends.
Yeah, the main issue is the fact that she didn't tell her friends.
Yeah. Do you want to hear comments?
Yeah.
Top comment is, bro, just go for the girl who will flirt with you in public. That means she'll hold your hand in public, kiss you in public, and treat you the way you deserve to be treated. The girl who thinks that you are somebody to stay in the closet is not your girl.
Yeah,
respect yourself.
Agreed.
I agree. Because there is going to be people that will happily show you off. You know, you shouldn't be putting yourself in a situation where they don't want to even tell their friends about you, much less show you off.
It's off-putting. Yeah. It's one thing if you went on a date or two that I could kind of get behind.
Yeah.
If you're official.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see the problem with her telling her friends, like, hey, he's my boyfriend, unless there's something else. underneath.
I agree.
Whether she's embarrassed or what her friends would think and things like that.
My thing is, I just don't understand because she's inviting him out with her friends.
Yeah.
Like, that part is weird to me.
That is a little weird.
If you're embarrassed of him, like, keep him home.
Unless she invited him out so her friends can see him.
And then make her decision.
And then when she asks her friends, like, hey, what'd you think about blah, blah, blah?
That's valid.
And they'd be like, ew. Or,
yeah. That could be, but still. The first time I could understand that, but this was the second time he went out with her friends. Because he said the first time I understood, but I don't know. It's weird. But I can't blame him for what he did.
No. I would say it's a conversation to be had.
Yeah. Especially it seems like it is still pretty fresh. So
True.
You have time to kind of decide if that's your person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Next story today, also coming from r/AITH. This one is 2 months old, titled, Am I the for punching my husband's ex-wife? My husband's ex-wife, who we'll call Shelly, hates me, and I'm not a big fan of hers either. She is high conflict and has been putting my stepson in the middle of her crap since the beginning. She made him listen at our door and report back what I said. She even called CPS on me for having a medical marijuana card, but nothing came of it. She will tell anyone that will listen that I stole her family from her and I destroyed her life. My husband had been divorced from her for 8 years when I met him. I just think that backstory is important. A couple of days ago, I took our daughter, 4 female, to the park in our subdivision to play. As I was pushing her on the swings, I saw Shelly pull up. I immediately grabbed my daughter and started walking back home. Shelly began to follow me and started yelling insults and threats at me. I dialed 911 and told them what was going on, so we stayed on the line. She called my daughter a half-breed, I'm black and my husband is white, and continued to follow me down the street, hurling insults. I told her to leave me alone and that I've called the police. That just made her more aggressive. By the point I was in front of my house and my garage door was up, I told my daughter to go in the house and get her dad. I turn around and Shelly is running at full speed towards me with her arms drawn back. I punched her dead in the throat. She fell to the ground, gasping for air. I dropped to the ground and asked if she was okay, but she continued to try and swing at me as she gasped for air. The cops then arrived and put her in handcuffs because she started to fight them as well. They put us in separate areas and talked to us. She told them that I hit her first, but my husband was already outside with the footage, ready to show the police. They asked me if I wanted to press charges, and I said yes. This is where people are saying I'm wrong. We live in a small town, and people got wind of what happened, and almost everyone is saying I'm wrong, because Shelly is 5'4" and maybe 130 pounds, whereas I am 5'10" and weigh about 180 pounds, and I weightlift. People are saying I should have went easier on her, and I could have really hurt her. They also have said I've done enough and charges weren't necessary. Of course, my husband, my stepson, and my family are on my side, but I've gotten some nasty messages from people in my town calling me a monster and a bully. I feel like I was just defending myself, but I want some unbiased opinions because now I feel like I might have taken it a little too far. I'm starting to doubt myself. Am I the
Originally, before you mentioned that there was surveillance footage, this is going to be one of those cases where she said
right,
kind of thing.
For sure.
But the fact that there's footage.
And the cops agreed in her favor.
Yeah, and before she struck Shelly, before she did that, if she was about to commit assault, then at that point, and that whole 180 pound to 130 pound crap, like, that doesn't fly.
No,
like,
I agree.
I've seen aggressive 100-pounders before.
Same.
Like,
Same.
if she was like maybe a 6'5" tall guy,
sure,
like, even still debatable. But no, I think it's communities, especially if it's a smaller community, there's always going to be that drama, and if originally maybe they don't know you or they don't like you, they're always going to take the opposite side,
100%.
even though the facts are right there. And the fact that there's footage of it and she came at you, I mean, at that point you did what you got to do. It was either going to be you or her.
I agree.
Chose yourself.
And people like to talk. At the end of the day, like, even if they know that you're correct, they still just want something to talk about, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
what's comments?
Top comment is, not the what you did was self-defense. It does not matter what the size difference is. Yeah. She was stalking, harassing, and attempting to attack you as well as your daughter. You absolutely should press charges and hold her accountable. You may even want to look into getting a restraining order. And I agree with that, because chasing through a neighborhood when you have your 4-year-old with you is crazy behavior.
Couple things. If she struck her because she was harassing and, like, saying stuff, that's a different story. Then at that point, like, okay, she is the striking her. But like I said, the fact that she was going after her and she did, she's not the this one.
I agree. I also think, like, the fact that she just randomly showed up at their neighborhood park is, like,
I think weird. The only thing would be, this is just me, I probably would not have pressed charges, because number one, I won. And I will always be the winner at this point. Number two, I think if, this is going to be a little bit of a hot take, but if you were wanting to be the bigger person, then maybe I probably would not have pressed charges to show her, like, look, like, I could have, but I didn't. And she might have seen her in a different light after that point.
I get that, but I think my perspective on that part is, like, there is kids involved, and when you do press charges, there's reports of it, and then that way, if it does ever happen again, there's evidence. That's okay. When kids aren't involved, I understand, but, like, you just want to make sure your kids are protected too, you know?
That's fair. If, like, in the future, if she calls CPS again or whatever, be like, well, I have a report of her trying to assault me.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Let's see. Next story. Also coming from r/AITH. This one is 6 months old. Titled, Am I the for smashing my brother's phone after my nephew broke my TV and he would not replace it? Honestly, the title says it all. My brother and his family were visiting our parents. I still live at home because I have an entry-level job after college. I have a few gaming consoles that I keep in my room. My nephew was bored and asked to play in my room. I said no, and that I would bring down my Switch so he could play it in the family room. My parents didn't want him making noise around everyone, and they told me to just let him in my room. He got mad while playing and threw the controller at my TV. It is destroyed. Big black line down one side. I grabbed him and dragged him to my brother. I told him what this little did. I said I wanted a new TV immediately. My mom said it was just an accident, but that is actual bull. My dad said that I could just replace it myself since I basically live at home rent-free. That's not the point. I'm not the one who broke it. My brother and his wife got mad that I manhandled their kid. My brother said that he would not replace my TV and that I was lucky he didn't call the cops on me for child abuse. I called him and said he was going to replace my TV or there would be consequences. He said no. I grabbed his phone and, much like Andy Samberg, I threw it on the ground. It broke, and that probably would have been fixable. However, it took a weird skip and landed in the pool. Now everyone is mad at me for ruining the visit with my petty revenge. My brother had to get a new phone, and it probably cost 4 times what my TV will cost. I feel like I'm not the only person to blame. My nephew, brother, sister-in-law, and parents all helped cause this problem. I'm just the one catching the hell for my actions. Am I the
Ooh.
Yeah, this one's a little tricky.
This is tough. This one's tough. I understand why it was, obviously it was just frustration at that point. I mean, if it was my nephew, I'd manhandle him. You know, if he's doing,
I'd say
he's
so.
doing he's not supposed to do, I'm gonna manhandle you. I don't care. I'll tell your I'll tell my brother. I don't think he should have taken it to that, but I understand the frustration after he didn't let his nephew in the room, and then because of his parents, he did let him in the room, and then it broke his TV, and then they don't want to pay for it. And regardless if he pays rent or not, in the end, you still destroyed his property.
I agree.
And he knew that was the reason. I'm sure he didn't want to leave his nephew in his room because that can happen.
For sure.
Did. I'm leaning towards not the, but I would have handled it a little bit differently. But I don't know how I would have handled it.
No, same. Yeah. I think it would have been a totally different situation had the brother just been like, I'm so sorry, here's money for a TV. Like, I think that would have just been the end of it, you know?
There's also, like, you know.
I mean, yeah, there's always
like most people are going to do that.
If it was my kid, I would. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're responsible for your children. Like, kids don't got jobs. Like, they can't pay for it.
I feel like he either did what he had to do, or he had to suck it up and pay for a new TV, even though he shouldn't have done that as well.
I agree.
It's all tough. I want to say not the.
I agree. I think it's a little over-exaggerated.
He's a butthole.
Yes.
But not a.
I agree. Top comment is, the fact that no one responded to the nephew throwing the controller at the TV just absolutely blows my mind.
Yeah.
My kid would be doing chores to pay for that TV. And I agree with that, honestly. Like, it is the kid's fault at the end of the day, whether he's a kid or not.
But how old is the nephew?
It doesn't say.
Doesn't say.
Mm-hmm.
If he's like 5, 6 years old, like not to, you know, condone this kind of behavior, because he would definitely get it from me if I was the dad. But obviously if he's like 10 pushing upwards after that, I'd be like, yeah, you're going to have to pay for it, so do something.
You're doing the dishes for 2 years, you're doing something. I don't know.
Oh, no, you're walking the neighbor's dogs. It's not coming from me. You're getting it from someone else.
That's valid. Understand. I mean, if they're like 5, 6 though, then like chores, I feel like is reasonable. Like at least, it's crazy to me that the parents were mad at the brother instead of being mad at their kid. Like, I understand, like, he did overreact or whatever, but, like, at the end of the day, your kid still broke something, and you're just like, that's fine. Like, you have to teach them that...
The person who posted this, where his TV got broken, I'm assuming he's younger than his brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The young ones always get that. Actually, no. We get away with most things.
Yeah.
But in this case, yeah, I see the frustration, definitely.
Yeah. Let's see. Next story, also from r/AITH. This one is 3 months old, titled, Am I the for grounding my daughter and canceling her senior trip after I found out she was cheating on her boyfriend?
Ooh.
I have 2 daughters, Lizzie, 17 female, and Mackenzie, 14 female. Their dad and I divorced a few years ago after I discovered he was having an affair. I have the kids most of the time, and their dad has them every weekend and during summers. Lizzie has been dating Jacob, 18 male, for over a year now. Jacob is constantly at our house. He's sweet, good young man, and I believe he'll be valedictorian of their class. However, a few weeks ago, I overheard Lizzie on the phone with a guy, clearly flirting. At first, I thought it was Jacob, but then I heard her say Brandon. I realized she was talking to someone else. Then, a week later, she mentioned to me that she was heading out to hang out with a friend. And when I looked out the window, I saw her get into a car and greet a guy with a kiss. It wasn't Jacob. Even after that, Jacob continued to come over, hanging out with Lizzie. He and Lizzie still acted like a couple, holding hands, laughing, and spending time together, just like they always had. I felt disgusted knowing my daughter was being a two-timer. After Jacob left that day, I confronted my daughter. I asked her point blank, "Are you cheating on your boyfriend with another guy?" She said it was none of my business and that her personal life was hers only.
That's it.
I told her that she was wrong and that I raised her better than that and to treat people better. She told me she was bored with Jacob and that Brandon was more her type now. I told her if she wasn't happy, she should have just broke up with Jacob. She said she didn't know if she wanted to be with Brandon or if she was just having fun flirting and teasing. I told her cheating was unacceptable and wrong, and as a consequence, I grounded her. I also told her she wasn't allowed to go on her senior trip with her friends. She obviously did not take that too well and has been at her dad's place for the last couple days. My ex-husband called me, saying I was being unreasonable for not letting her go on the trip, and that her and Jacob were just a high school thing. He then told me I needed to put my bitterness aside and stop punishing his daughter. I told him I was teaching our daughter right from wrong and that actions have consequences. Am I the
No.
Honestly, I think good for that mom. Like, you have to teach them because if you let them get away with it, then they're going to think it's fine.
Obviously, she's had that experience with
Yes.
her ex-husband, so it's going to be even more volatile when something like that happens
Yeah.
and she's witnessing.
She's been on the other side of it.
Yeah, and her daughter's doing it to someone else.
Yeah.
Poor Jacob. I think I would have told Jake. Well, listen, man, this was going on.
There was another guy here last night.
There was another guy. It wasn't Jacob. It wasn't you. Sorry. Yeah. Or the other part of it would have been let it happen the way it happens. Because naturally there's going to be consequences anyways,
Yes.
not a forced consequence.
Yes.
So regardless, something would have happened where hopefully she would have learned her lesson.
Hopefully.
But I would say, yeah, good on her for trying to instill that at a younger age.
Especially like morals, you know?
What I think it would solve her issue do I think she's going to cheat again? Probably. I don't think this will stop her. Because typically for that to stop, something drastic would have had to happen.
I mean, losing your senior trip is a little...
Is that drastic?
I think so.
Oof. I had a rougher child. But I'm saying, like, for example, like the ex-husband, he got caught cheating and ended in a divorce. That's more devastating than losing your senior trip.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't even think the husband will learn at that point either.
Yeah.
Especially being at that age and having an affair and cheating.
I do find it interesting that the dad is the one that is, like, defending her.
Well, yeah, because like, he's been on the other side of it, you know what I mean?
He's on her side,
it's not that bad, you know? Like, she made a mistake, right?
I don't know. I feel like, honestly...
She's not...
Not at all. I think if I was a parent and my daughter did that, I don't stand for that in my house. Like, and like she said, like, I raised you better than that. So, like, figure something out.
I don't know what I would do. It's kind of scary to think what I would do, but I don't know what I would do. I would have a reaction.
Yeah.
But
you probably would tell Jacob, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel
man to man, I would probably call him. And
call him.
Yeah, I would probably call him.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else I would do. I feel like I would do something else. Public embarrassment.
Of
at
the
her
daughter?
Graduation.
So you'd still let her go on the trip?
Yeah, and I'll...
See, that's where...
No, I wouldn't. But I feel like there should be more for her to learn her lesson.
Fair.
You know?
You get no summer. Your senior summer, gone.
I don't know what I would do. That's tough.
I don't know either.
What are comments?
Top comment is your daughter aware of the reason you and her dad divorced? And OP says yes.
Okay. That's a good question.
Then next comment is, I'd recommend explaining that since cheating broke your family, you won't under any circumstance tolerate her cheating on her boyfriend, and emphasize the strain it puts on your relationship with her. Explain the pain that you felt after finding out that your ex-husband had an affair and how her boyfriend deserves none of that just because she feels bored. And I think that's accurate. I think it does merit a conversation, yes, but more than just a conversation.
This is what my problem is. Because my problem would be I shouldn't have to explain
I mean, yeah,
this to
you shouldn't.
This is common sense. This is common knowledge. You cheat, you have an affair, you destroy families, you destroy relationships, and the surrounding people around it. Like, that's something I shouldn't even have to explain to you at 17 years old. You know what you're doing it. You are doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
So I think that's what would irk me even more so because it's common knowledge.
Yeah, for sure. Especially at that age. And I'm looking... Let me see. It says that the mom and dad divorced a few years ago. So, like, in my head, she was still old enough to understand what was going on.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's not like she was, like, 2 and, like, didn't understand how it affected the family.
Like, kids nowadays, younger kids nowadays, they're more in tune with what's going on in the world than, like, I was when I was a kid.
No, for sure,
You know, like, with technology and, like, you know, news and social media comes blazing fast nowadays. Like, younger kids are more knowledgeable than how we were when we were kids.
No, 100%.
You know? But I feel like even at, like, 7 or 8 years old, I understood what cheating would be, you know?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think she needs some church.
That's good. That's actually pretty good. I got forced to go to church.
Yeah.
Not as a consequence, but she needs church.
As a added.
Yeah. Church every Sundays and Saturday nights.
Saturday nights.
Saturday night youth church. Okay. Yeah. There you go. That's a good one. Read the Bible.
Right. Should we move on to our next story? This one, also coming from r/AITH, 4 months old, titled, Am I the for giving my manager diarrhea after eating my lunch?
Something I would do.
I never thought that something I had been prepared to do my whole life would leave me feeling so anxious, scared, and guilty. I, 20 female, recently had trouble with someone stealing my lunch while at work. Typical office drama that I never thought would actually happen to me. I would be less upset if this person was just taking a few pieces, but they are eating all of my food, drinking all of my juice, and leaving the dirty, empty container inside the fridge for me to find. I was really upset to the point of crying with rage because I hate it when people touch my food. It's something I prepared exclusively for myself with the intention of improving my health and bad eating habits.
Same.
But it's a damn rat that's enjoying my meals.
Damn rat is crazy. I like this girl.
Yeah, right? So to catch the office rat, I spent 2 weeks starting my plan by telling my close colleagues that I couldn't go to the bathroom and that I needed some tips. Then I made an appointment with the doctor, not because I was sick, but to have proof in my favor so HR wouldn't try to accuse me of anything later. Just 2 days ago, I put a lot of laxative in my food and juice, and I took it to work, and again, they ate everything and left the dirty bowl with nothing inside, which brought me small, dark happiness. Today, I found out the little thief was our manager, thanks to rumors and gossip saying that he was in the hospital due to severe diarrhea. I don't know if that's true that he is in the hospital, because I did give him a safe dose of laxative, but I'm sure he'll have a stomach ache for at least a day or 2. Initially, I was happy because this will serve as a lesson, but on the other hand, I am very worried about his health now. At first, I was angry, but now I'm worried that HR will call me in and punish me for this, even though I am the victim of the stolen lunch. On the one hand, I feel avenged, but I'm afraid of losing my job or that my manager will take revenge on me. I know I might be exaggerating, but I really need opinions.
This is very sophisticated.
I agree.
Kudos,
For 20? Yeah.
If this story is legit, couple things with this is, number one, can you really get into trouble? Because in the end, it was her food.
Yeah.
If she put those laxatives
If anyone, he could get in trouble, I feel like.
But if she put those laxatives in her manager's food, that's a different story.
Yes,
Then
for sure.
You could get in trouble. In the end, it was her food. And it's also smart because she found out who it was because he was crapping his pants the whole time.
No, exactly. And she was so smart with the whole backstory. Like a week before, she was telling her close coworkers, like, I can't go to the bathroom. What should I do? Even went to the doctor complaining about it.
This is like my level.
Like she's got her bases covered. If anyone tries to come for her, like, I couldn't poop. I needed to put laxatives in my food.
In the end, it was her food. Why? Yeah. What business do you have eating my food? That's your fault.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you eat someone's food and because of your religious beliefs, you're like, oh, I wasn't supposed to eat that. Like, and then you ate their food.
Right. You shouldn't have touched it in the first place. I like this girl.
I like this one, yeah. No, I wouldn't feel bad. And who the hell eats your food out of like
for real?
Like,
and then
from the workplace?
Puts the dirty container back
like what
in
kind
there.
of animal does that?
Like I've heard of like sandwiches, like people just like taking the sandwich out of the fridge or whatever. But like a whole like Tupperware meal.
Like if it happened once and it was like
an accident.
An accident because I don't know.
2 containers look the same.
Like fine, whatever. But if this person was actually just eating your food constantly,
and he's
like
your manager,
well deserved.
Your
honestly.
Manager too. Like
I wouldn't feel bad.
No,
don't feel bad. I wouldn't feel bad.
And I don't think HR even has any like reason to do anything about it because
if they did this.
You can literally go in and be like I couldn't poop.
Yeah.
I had to put laxatives in my food. It's not my fault he ate my food.
Here's the doctor's orders.
Exactly.
So, we good here? Can I go? I gotta go take a Can I
go? Top comment is punish you for him stealing your lunch? ? You told people you had issues pooping. 2, you used medication that was prescribed to you.
Mm-hmm.
3, you didn't know he'd literally steal and eat your lunch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
See, that's a lesson learned. Bet he won't do that again.
Man is never touching anyone else's food again.
Nope. Bring my own damn food.
Yeah, you should have in the first place. Especially, like, it's just crazy to me being the manager. Like,
I don't even care who it is. Like, you don't take someone's food from work from their fridge and eat it constantly. Like,
yeah, one time, okay, I can forgive you, but like all the time, yeah.
Get yourself beat up for doing something like that,
or end up in the hospital.
Ways to do it. Nah, I wouldn't feel bad.
No, me neither.
Justified.
And I don't think they have any legal reason to get her in trouble.
I feel like if they did, she would have legal reasons to get them into trouble.
Yeah. My manager's stealing my food.
Yeah. I didn't even know. Actually, I didn't even know. He was stealing my food. It was my food. He ate.
Yeah. I needed laxatives. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. I have one more story for us today. Coming from r/AITAH, 1 month old. Am I the for banning my husband from all doctor's appointments after he repeatedly messes with me while I'm pregnant?
Okay, I got it. I got it.
All right. Hi. So I'm currently pregnant, about 6 months along, and my husband has been doing this thing every time we go to a doctor's appointment. He'll drive me to the appointment, then when I'm about to get in the car to leave, he drives forward a little, then reverses, then drives forward again. He does this a few times, and it always frustrates me. He thinks it's hilarious and says he's just messing with me. I started to get really frustrated. I'm already dealing with the physical and emotional toll of pregnancy, and this just feels like him poking fun at me while I'm already tired and stressed. I told him it bothers me, but he just brushed it off and said I'm overreacting and that he's just having fun. We had a big fight about it the other day. I tried to explain how it's making me feel, and he got defensive, saying I need to lighten up and that it's just a joke. I told him it wasn't funny anymore, and it wasn't something I wanted to deal with during my pregnancy. The final straw was when he did it again before a doctor's appointment yesterday, and I was just done. I ended up calling my mom to take me instead and told my husband he was banned from all future appointments. Well, now he's furious. He's demanding to be there for the next appointment because it's the one we'll find out the baby's gender. He says it's a huge moment and I'm being unfair by not letting him come. I told him I need him to respect my boundaries, and this is one of the ways I'm doing that. But he keeps insisting that it's just a silly little thing, and now he's calling me unreasonable for making a big deal out of it. Am I overreacting?
No, this reminds me of like that prank episode we did where, maybe the once or twice on your pregnant wife, Jesus Christ. Like once or twice, haha, you get a laugh from it,
Right.
okay. You keep doing it. She tells you it bothers her, and you keep doing it.
Yeah.
In the end, that's on you at that point. You're just, if you just don't care for your pregnant wife's feelings.
6 months pregnant, too. And it's not just that. It's like emotions are very much so heightened when you're 6 months pregnant. And like one little thing will send you into a spiral, Like, and if she told you this is the one thing that will send me into a spiral and you keep doing it.
I mean, just like pregnant or not, too. Like if you were to tell me or I were to tell you like, hey, sometimes guys have listening problems, so maybe you have to tell us twice, but whatever.
After the second time, you should get it.
Yeah. I agree to that. Sometimes we do have listening problems, but like if she tells you and she's already dealing with all that stuff with her carrying your child, yeah, you should have just laid off.
Yeah.
I see it being funny the first or second.
Yeah. Do you think it's justified for her to say, like, okay, like, you pushed it too far, no more appointments for you? Like, you're not welcome at any of them.
It's like a child. Like, you can't do this now because...
Yeah, consequences for your actions.
Yeah.
Like, I told you to stop. You didn't believe me.
It sucks for him.
Yeah, but he should have just listened to her.
Yeah, he should just listen to her and, taken it a little bit seriously.
Yeah, I agree. My thing, too, is, like, you have a child on the way. If you're going to be that immature, like, you gotta figure some things out. Because once this child comes, like, you can't be doing that.
I feel like this is one of those things where, like, when someone's pregnant, like, obviously, with hormones and chemical imbalances and all that, like, things set you off differently.
Yeah.
It also happens to the husband, too.
Like,
have you heard of it?
Sure.
Like,
where,
like, it's, like, not just, like, she changes, but also the guy... makes adjustments to his behavior to counteract what's going on.
Yeah.
So that could be one of those situations.
Like, maybe, but...
I mean, it's still not cool when she told you, like, it's bothering her and she's pregnant.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like, sure, like, pregnancy is a lot for the entire couple, not just the woman. But the woman's the one carrying the child. So
she's carrying.
Yeah.
You gotta be a little bit more sensitive.
Yeah. Or at least understand. Yeah. Top comment is not the an honest question. Has he always been this immature and a disrespectful jerk? Because it's only going to get worse once your baby arrives.
Did OP answer to that?
No.
Oh. Because see, that's what I'm saying is because it kind of it feels like she's surprised with the way he's acting, meaning he didn't really act like this before she was pregnant. So like how I was saying, where like she's changing a little bit, he's also changing.
Yeah.
And this is his response to her pregnancy, their pregnancy.
Yeah.
Her pregnancy.
Same thing. I don't know what's correct. Same thing.
But I feel like he's also making adjustments, and
that's fine. But there comes a point where, even if it's vice versa, even if the husband had said something like, look, like, I get you're pregnant, but like, I'm not cool with this. Like, you have to still have that middle ground,
Yeah, pregnant or not, you always have to have a middle.
Yeah.
It like, and just like with jokes, like there's a point where you stop when no one's laughing,
Like if your wife is literally like crying on the side of the road 6 months pregnant because you're
trying to drive forward.
Like, that's crazy.
Poor girl.
Like, I just keep thinking about, like, what if you're leaving the hospital with your newborn baby and he does that shit?
Doing that.
Like, I'd be so mad. Like,
yikes.
So I kind of understand. Like, I do understand why he obviously is upset that he doesn't get to be at the appointment, but also that's his problem.
Caused it.
Yeah, that's his problem.
It in the end.
Yeah.
Like, you should have thought about that. It's like a child. Like, you should have thought about that.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, what could he do to, like, get back in her good graces to go to the appointment again? Because I don't know. I feel like it varies from person to person.
It varies from person to person. I think the best course of action on his end, even though she's writing this, the best course of action on his end would be like, I'm very sorry. I was being a jerk. I understand now. I will stop.
And then you better stop.
And then you better stop. Yeah, you don't do it again. At that point, then you're sorry doesn't mean.
Or there's compromise of like, okay, we're Ubering to all appointments now or something.
Just, I would, if that was me, not that I would do that, but that was going to be like, look, I had time to reflect. I completely understand what you're saying. I apologize.
The fact that he's like doubling down and being like, you're being unreasonable for not letting me go, and like
defense mechanism.
I mean, yes, but like you have to see it from the 6-month pregnant lady's perspective.
Some people don't. They just think they're being funny, and like when also there's some people where if you don't laugh at their stuff, they keep pushing it. Well, they push it, but they go to the fact that, oh, you're just too serious, like lighten up. Yeah. You know, but no, you're just not.
True. Yeah. Well, that is all I have for us today.
Those good ones today.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and of course, comment any updates to these stories or even share your own stories. Thanks.